up, everybody? It's Lady J Bookums, and I'm here with my guy, brand man Sean. What it do?
Yo, what's up? What's up?
So, look, we want to talk today about Instagram and the fact that they are taking away the likes. So, they've been posting this on all the social media platforms. Everybody been going crazy. Everybody's saying stuff like, oh, all these IG models, everybody just about to be mad, right?
Heck yeah.
So I really want to get into this with you, right? Because the fact that they're taking away the likes, like, what does that really mean for people? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Especially like influencers that kind of get sponsorships and stuff like that off of having all of those likes.
Man, the first thing in my mind that I already know that affects is really quality of content, right? It just creates more transparency because most of everybody has been paying attention to numbers, and that's the finesse, right?
Right.
Because we know we can fake numbers, we can do this
that's
and
a
that,
fact.
you know, the whole okie doke situation. We know what that looks like, and then the whole social proof, like, oh man, this person has all these likes. Maybe this content is important. That's gonna force me as an individual to now judge your shit based on if I like it actually or not versus what other people think.
So it pretty much, for me, I feel like it's gonna make people level up when it comes to creating the content.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if, like, the reason why IG said that they're doing this is because they're trying to cut down on certain things, like, you know, kids killing themselves and people.
I ain't heard that stuff.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it was like, you know, people coming to Instagram and feeling a certain way because they don't have likes, which for some people make it feel like I'm not that person, I'm not worthy. And then we have people who start doing all kinds of crazy things just to get these likes. And I don't know if Instagram feels like, yo, y'all are giving us a bad name because y'all going hamburger, you know what I mean? Trying to just get likes, you know that term, do it for the gram, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta do it for the gram though.
Man, but listen, like, I don't know if that's like, if it's a thing, because I know as a woman and just being in industry or whatever, when I pull up on Instagram and I see like all these women that look like super bodies and everything, so it's like us average girls, you know, for a lot of people, when you pull up and you see stuff like that, it makes you, you know, feel some type of way about yourself, like your self-esteem and everything like that. So I think that has something to do with it also.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I feel like so much of that stuff is fake. Obviously, we're going to talk about what this means to artists, right? But even just generally speaking, I think artists, they face the same struggle that other people face for other reasons, just like you talked about as a woman, though, right? But it's that same facade where so much of it is fake, where a lot of times these women that have
get your wording right,
that have those type of views, right? Not those type of views. The women that have those looks, right? They copy the game in the same way a lot of artists just artificially, I'm gonna do what's popular,
right?
And those women do what's popular. In real life, a lot of guys aren't treating them the same in the same way a lot of these artists who have that whole social proof look, but in real life they don't have fans.
Right.
A lot of those women don't have fans in real life that like is good for the gram. And I'm not saying that, like, I'm not even talking about some moral or my preference. I'm just saying like what actually is happening. So because they fake their views too, and that's another thing.
Right.
So now you might be thinking, I need to look like this because these people are getting likes,
right? And
dudes are coming at them when dudes aren't necessarily treating them like that always in real life, and some of them got fake likes too. So they're playing that whole IG model game. Let me be the influencer, but it's actually, that's the crazy part though, because this fake stuff is actually affecting your real mentality and self-esteem. So that's wild.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that was one of their main points. Like, we have so many people trying to be something and not really accepting themselves, you know, and it's just affecting the world. Like, social media is so powerful right now, you know what I mean? And I think the younger people coming up, you know, it's like a generation of a certain type of person right now, like a certain type of women or woman, a certain type of male, and this is what everybody is striving to be.
Yeah, you know what though, like, I don't think Instagram care. I really don't.
I think they're trying to like cover their ass real quick.
Yeah,
you know,
like, at the end of the day, I mean, of course, I'm not saying the individuals in Instagram don't care about society. However, collectively, when you create a company that big and how things go and having to make money, that's the primary bottom line. So I think also some of it is them just trying to adjust, and maybe things are getting more out of hand even or out of control than we might know or we might think. Or they might be looking at the threat of TikTok, which we got to talk about a little bit. Right? Because TikTok is actually better built for quality content versus just social proof likes and all that stuff than Instagram is, which, like I said, we can get into that. But like, all right, what do you think in terms of artists then? Like what, or just anybody who wants to be a quality influencer, because so much of it is the same. But what's your perspective of what the adjustment is going to be like, and what are we going to start seeing?
So I feel like, when it comes to taking the likes away, because I had an artist ask me, like, what is this going to do for me as an artist and my music, like, especially like going viral, right? Because they was like, the whole thing of going viral is because you're getting all these likes, you're getting all this engagement, people are starting to recreate your content and repost you and all that good stuff. So I had a question come to me and was like, well, is this going to affect me going viral? So I don't think it's going to affect artists in the way that they think. Like, I really think it's better for them, because, especially independent artists, because a lot of them don't have a lot of likes anyway. So now we can pull up on your page and not really judge you off of how many likes you have, but more so just off your content, right? So it may be better for an artist as long as you have great content. Like, if you don't have good content, then you wasn't winning anyway. But if your content is good and people pull up to your page and they don't have to judge you based off of how many other people liked you, then it might help them make a better decision of, should I follow this person or should I not? Instead of just being like shallow about it and like, oh, I'm gonna follow them because they got 500 likes on all their pictures and stuff like that, right? So I think it might be better for artists, and I don't necessarily think it's going to affect people going viral, because like the algorithm and having people still post your content a whole bunch of times, like, it's still going to get out there if that happens. You know what I mean? I don't think the taking away likes is going to stop somebody from going viral. Also, if y'all didn't know, if artists didn't know, you'll still be able to check your stats, like, in your analytics. So as long as you have like a business page for your Instagram, you can still go and check your stats, because I also had somebody ask me like, well, how am I going to know if a post is doing good? So I'm like, well, they said that, the stats will still be there for the user, for you to see, like, in your analytics. So you can still say, okay, this post did good, this post didn't, maybe I should do something different. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if people have started to see this already. I had seen this already on my page where, you can't see 5 or 500 people have liked this post, right? But it used to show that easily, but now it'll be like,
you have to actually click on.
You got to click into it just to get into it, right? It's an extra step. So they slowly are like training people, right? That's just how the behavior game goes. They're training people to get to that point.
That makes sense. Yeah. I thought about this like months ago. They
already know. They beta tested it with smaller crowds and all that stuff, man. Like, so they're going to get to a point where, so when they finally get to that jump, it's not going to be as big as it is of just like, oh, tomorrow we see it this way and now it's that way. It's gonna be steps in between. They already have people's attention. It's not like they have to rush the process in that kind of way. And I think the bigger impact though is just the fact that the sheep are gonna be confused.
Yeah.
like and a lot of people only like stuff because
other people,
it's popping, right? Because of other people. So now people are gonna have to be like forced to figure out what their own opinion is.
Right. I wonder how it's even going to look though, because like, okay, if you have a video, and you like something, you can see the views or whatever. But it's like, if it's not a video, like there's literally, I guess, going to be nothing there. Like, you're just going to like and
yeah,
like, I just wonder how it's going to look.
It'll just be a little bit less, because it kind of looks weird to me now with that adjustment on my page of just showing like these two people versus a number. But yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be like a cleaner look or something like that, because you can still right a post, you just can't see like the number anymore.
I'm thinking that's what it's gonna be.
I like your post, AJ. I can't see who else liked the post, but you can see the background. The like feature is still there. They're just not showing likes.
Right.
That's what's happening.
That's what I believe is happening.
Okay.
You know,
yeah,
because it still has to be some type of engagement, right? So it's like they're not going to stop you from being able to like it. They're just going to stop you from being able to see like how many likes you have. Because when we talk about doing stuff like running ads and stuff, like we still need that type of engagement. So
some type of engagement.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it's going to force people to like comment more. You know, maybe that's going to be the engagement, because I don't know if I read or heard anything about them necessarily stopping or starting the likes.
Yeah, I haven't heard specifically, but that would be interesting. Just what you're saying, that if you're taking away the like for real, the ability to even engage in that way would force people to comment more. That would be interesting, because that would, in my opinion, that would be a higher quality of engagement. Right. Likes become so passive. You know,
because you scrolling, like I be scrolling and don't even know what I'm liking. I'm just scrolling and liking.
You don't, that's zombie mode, right? And that's what I mean though. Like that's what it's gonna definitely affect those in terms of the sheep, because the quality of content. I mean the from the content perspective, there's gonna be no curation. The curation is gonna happen algorithmically, but in terms of curation based on somebody's opinion, 500 people like this must be something I should like. That type of social proof. Of course, maybe comments, right, becomes the thing like we talked about.
Right, but then we might have all the bots, you know.
Yeah, that's
people always find a way to.
They're gonna be trying to solve for that forever. But I think the huge part about that is something that we've already actually have seen the effect of, which is just the internet and social media in general, which has took away, in the same way this might take the ability of people to judge quality of content in that way. People already, because of the internet, don't have the ability to judge other people rightly. And what I mean by that is, you in your comments, or you see all these horrible comments, right?
Right.
And there'll be somebody who says like, "Oh man, you are lying. What you're saying is completely untrue," something like that. And then somebody else is like, "Oh, I love what you're saying. I relate." Blah blah blah. Lo and behold, either way it goes, we don't know if this is a 12-year-old who has nothing to do with anything, right? So he has no. Well, somebody could be trolling. Somebody could really be against you, but they could be like just dumb, right? Somebody else obviously could be highly credible, like really be a real life expert in the in the industry or whatever is going on. And then there's all kind of other betweens. But the point is, in real life, you will be able to see this person and know, should I listen to this person or not, or do I even care what they say?
Right.
But online, when some of these bullying effects come, right, or whatever people are saying, you get more effective for them, because you actually lose sight of the ability to judge, is this person credible? Like, there's certain people, if a homeless man came up to you and said something crazy to you, you would still be like, that was wild, but that's a homeless man. I'm not really taking it a certain way.
Right.
Online, you don't know who the like wild, crazy person that you probably shouldn't be paying attention to in the first place is. So from a mental health part, that was like why certain things started to happen online. It just became so huge.
Yeah.
From and taking that back to the likes being like gone, right? Now it's a similar impact in terms of now it democratizes, where all these the content itself is the relevancy itself, just like before.
Bro, you just said democratizing, and that just like yes, it's a big word. Brand man shine.
But no, like right. So it's interesting though, because now judgment changes. That's we'll just leave it at that. Like judgment changes at the end of the day, and like when we go to, all right, let's talk about TikTok. Like let's roll into that, because right when it comes to ways to post and promote, we already know it's a hot spot at the moment. I think Instagram, a large part of it might have to do with the quality of engagement that TikTok is able to get, because of their algorithm, right, is really built more for quality engagement. Are you familiar with how it works?
So not all the way. You can break it down a little bit.
I got some other stuff, but all right. So their algorithm works like this. You post something. We talk so much about trying to get into the For You page and all that stuff on TikTok.
Right, yeah.
Really, essentially everybody gets to the For You page on TikTok, and we could talk about why after. Like, so you post, your junk goes into this small batch, and everybody. When we talk about the small batch, it's going to be a batch of people's For You page. If you go on TikTok, you'll scroll, you'll be like 500,000 likes, 3,000 likes on this person's post and 5 million views. And then you'll see somebody who has like 2 views and 7 likes because you're one of those first For You pages that they're testing it on your For You page, right? And after it hits that first layer, that small batch, they analyze. The algorithm says, all right, how many likes like per view and all this kind of stuff is happening, and that determines if it makes it to the next batch. All right, it makes it to the next batch, then it's the medium batch. Oh, and it stays in that first batch for 2 hours. Right? Okay. After that, medium batch, and then they do some more. It gets a little bit more intense. You have a bigger audience, and they really start to judge not just on likes and shares, which also become like they are really relevant, but then the completion rate, like watching the video all the way through, and how many replays happens becomes even more relevant at that time, right? Then it goes to the third batch, which is a larger batch. The largest batch, less people make it, right? You got to think about a pyramid. So now we're getting to the upper, 10 to 5% of content, because the medium batch is pretty big, and you can get probably 50,000 likes off of just the medium batch alone. But
good numbers.
Yeah, it is. Oh, very good. TikTok has good numbers, right? But before you get into that third batch, that large batch, there's an in between where they start to test for like hate speech, like all kind of wild stuff. And I'll tell y'all folks right now, if you post the weed on TikTok, man, that junk is gone. It is gone.
Really?
Yes. So I know a lot of y'all who are, y'all will struggle in that place. TikTok is different, man. I'll preview it now really quickly now before I get into that, finishing that, the batches. Look, TikTok is owned by China. All these other social networks we're talking about that we used to are owned, like, are American grown and born. Yeah. China is different, man. Like, y'all have to, the control over their social networks, their internet, all that stuff is different. The mentality, the literal political thesis and way of being is different than the American, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different. So, like, get out your bag, because this is a new wild game. It's wild to us, at least.
I think it's good, though, because I think artists need to be pushed to step outside of their comfort zone.
Everybody
and learn how to, everybody, and learn how to do something different and adapt to it and make it work for you in whatever your industry is. So exactly. I think that's a good thing.
No, I'm excited about it.
Right.
Especially if you weren't winning in the last wave because you were just too late and just the rule, whatever, it's your chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead and hop into that. But so it's stress tested for the third. Like, that's one of the other things after the regular algorithm stuff in a medium batch. On the way to the third batch, even if you make it numbers wise, if you got that hate speech or just some other stuff they don't want them in there, starts to test for that. Large batch, bam, bam, bam. Like, it's there for 4 days, right? And obviously that just gives you an opportunity to get more likes. That just means you're also going to be pushed on so many more pages, and very few content gets pushed on as many pages. And then they have a fourth and final one, which is like crazy. It's hard. It was hard for me to believe. Well, it wasn't even hard for me to believe this at first. It was just crazy. So after it graduates from that third batch, if it makes it there, remember, like, so now you're like talking about the 1% of content, right? They actually have a real person who works at TikTok look at that junk and be like, yo, it's time for this thing to like die out, so expire. Or they be like, wow, this thing about to go super viral, and it goes super viral.
So getting back to the viral concept, now I don't even know if a lot of artists are really hip to TikTok, first of all, because I know I've been trying to talk about it. I've been seeing like the rise. I've been seeing the potential in it as far as artists having the ability to get on there, with their music, create their content, and then other people can use their music to create content. So it's really like you can literally build up your fan base over there and get those likes up and stuff, especially if you're not getting it over at Instagram or the other platforms. But I know that like people are really getting known from TikTok, like artists like Nas X. He talks about it a lot. He credits like TikTok for, him going viral pretty much. You know what I mean? So can you talk about like, or can you just like tell artists how how do they go about like getting on there and getting it started so that they can start getting to those tiers?
All right, so for all the primary basics, we got a whole playlist on the YouTube channel. So just go like how to get TikTok famous. Google that, and the Brand Man channel, y'all will find like the whole playlist on the basics, how to upload your music and just the main stuff. But when we get into like how you should approach it as an artist, one, you got to spend time just getting into the community, like understanding how it works, right, liking stuff, getting a feel, that whole thing, right? Just research to get a feel for what that's like. Figure out where you can jump in. We playing double dutch at this point, right? Like so you got to wait that out.
People been feeling like TikTok is like for kids though.
No, man, it's not. And like TikTok as a company, you got to realize, like, for one, a company is gonna want to make as much money as possible, right? Especially if it's a social network, though, it's really benefiting off of the demographics that are in there. And once you monopolize a certain demographic, the only way you can really grow is by extending that. Right. So they're trying to get older, and people have been saying musically, which TikTok bought, and those type of platforms have been young for a long time now, right? It's been about 3-4 years. So some of those people who are 15 or 19 now, some of those people who are 18 or 22 now, right? If they actually stayed on and didn't die off, some have, some haven't. So it's going to get older. It's inevitable. And just think about how late some of y'all got to Instagram, right? That's a fact. A lot of the people who are huge on Instagram right today are the people who are like really moving early. Right. They've been on there for years. And then the people who got huge later were people who had resources and invested, like who needed more to get out there. Right. But the people who actually are on top still and got there from organic, that was because they were there early. Right. Like, so if you don't have no money, if you complain I don't have resources, or this person has investors, and like if you don't have none of that, you need to be on the organic early train before all that other distraction comes on. Right. So like just get on it. You have to learn it. No, you don't need to know how it's going to be used and maybe exactly how it's going to apply to your brand. That might be hard for you to see at first. Right. But that's a part of like learning this game, testing and growing out. Because look, you can't be selfish, right? This social network stuff is about entertainment, bringing getting other people's attention, but you got to deserve and earn their attention. So if I just get on here and say, oh man, I posted my music and they don't like it and it's not getting viewed, it's like, bruh, like people don't have a reason to care about what you're doing or what you're saying, even if your music is amazing. So that's one. And then two, even if you don't want to get into the content I'm posting on my page, putting your music on there as a sound and getting influencers to post it,
I think that was like the biggest the biggest thing when I really started to look into TikTok. You know, the fact that you can actually put your music on there and people can create content with your music. I felt like that was like golden. You know what I mean? Golden. Like that platform is literally geared towards music. You know, Instagram is not really geared towards your music. You know what I mean?
It's not.
So why not get on a platform that's actually geared towards creating content with music? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like that's, for me, I feel like that's a no-brainer. And I know it was something about TikTok where you can actually receive, like, you can go live. You know what I mean? It was like a live feature on there. That was talking about receiving like donations. You could take payments and stuff. Yo,
I know you like that.
Level. I know you like that. I'm all about monetizing, baby. When we talk about monetizing your music, bro, it's so many different ways. So you can literally go live on TikTok and get money at the same time. Mm-hmm. You know, and all you got to do is just get on there and be consistent. I think the main problem with artists is like they always want stuff right now. So it's like if they do it right now and they don't get that result, they're like, oh no, I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? And it's like y'all got to take time to like build. Artists got to build.
Yeah, I watched the artist go from like 0 to maybe like 70K and making his first $50 on the platform. Now he's made hundreds on the platform, but in like a month and a half. Like, you know how much time it takes to do that on a YouTube page to get to like a rack in followers and even longer to make that much back in advertising, especially if you're not just on no like bull. A long time. I just let y'all know that. Like, it's a long time, right? And to do that today is probably even longer, right? And then Instagram, you mentioned a huge point. In the DNA of TikTok, a large part of it is just music, right? And sound. We'll just leave it at that because sometimes they do like little acting things and all that stuff. Instagram's DNA was pictures. Right. That's what they started off. For photographers, those types of creatives, and they built out from there. Like that alone like shows you there's some innate things to artists that you got to build off of. Yeah, I get it. Some people like to sit on their high horse and act like, oh, I don't want to do that because that's not cool, or it's like, oh, it's young kids and it's not for me. You can say that, but then when you end up on TikTok 2 years down the road, but you also taking the L, then look, you the only one who have to answer for your stuff. So a lot of times you have to put the ability, because look, business, it don't care about who's benefited. It just cares about, like, look, you follow the rules, you get the results, you follow the right behavior. So look, I go test this stuff out, and maybe TikTok, like Gary Vee has finally started to say, because I think he don't want people to like after Snapchat like died and like a little bit of, like, you know, like, but because what the reality is, look, even if this thing dies a year from now, the opportunity and the level of attention you can get for a short period of time now is extremely valuable. Right. And if you don't make yourself get good at doing something like that, you're the one who's gonna suffer, right? Like, you're the one who, like, if you got trash marketing tactics, or you just not good at the business and like that whole part of it, look, you gonna take the L. It just is what it is. Right. Maybe you aren't good enough for it, so you got to get out the mentality of, I just don't want to hop on the wave because I'm too cool or I'm better than this.
Man, y'all gotta ghost ride the wave. You know what I'm saying? You gotta ghost ride that wave. And I tell artists all the time, like, you gotta be where your fans are. You know, you gotta be where the people are. Like, right now, the people are really coming up on TikTok. Like, it's just really something that's being talked about for many reasons. So it's like, if that's something that you notice just in business, that's a strategy. So when you see a rise in something in business, you're like, yo, we got to do this. Like, let's get the plan together and let's jump on it and just ghost ride the wave until it ain't no more. You know what I mean? So it's like, we have to learn how to adapt. You know what I mean? Because it's always going to be something new coming out. And then sometimes with these profiles, just like Instagram, you know, everybody loved Instagram, but now Instagram is making all these changes, and it's making it harder for people, creatives, to do what they were doing before. So it's always going to be another app or another platform that comes out and be like, boom, since you can't do that over there, we're going to make it over here. And then you're going to have a whole bunch of people run over there and run it up until they start changing. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, you got to stay up to date, first of all, with all the new stuff that's coming out. Why do people like it? How can it benefit me as an artist? How can I come up and cap off of it, pretty much? You know what I mean? And until I can't no more. And then you have to do it. Like, artists is, like you said, you got to get out your own mind, get out your own way, man, and just step into the light.
Bruh, what I love about TikTok is people actually listen to the music. It's weird, but people, like, I got campaigns where, like, all right, thousands of videos been created to the like to their sound or their song, right? But it's just from TikTok, only TikTok. Now people have gone and got tens of thousands of additional plays of their music on Spotify, right? Thousands of plays on the YouTube video, increasing the followers on Instagram, right? All of that stuff without even promoting those other things at all. Like, I got one dude who's like, yo, people are I forgot to post anything about my music, and people are like, where can I find this music, right? And because he's an artist who does it as a content creator standpoint, and then other people in the comments helping find his music, right? He has all that action, but once again, if you do not want to content create at this time, right, and get into that wave, or you're just still in the study trying to figure out how you're going to jump into this game, the ability to pay influencers while they're cheap at the time, right, and still get that benefit and still get videos created to your stuff, and you don't have to do anything physically as an artist, show your face at all, there's still a lot of value in that as a platform. I mean, that's what great promotion looks like, because, like, I remember you mentioned, right, you already talked about the whole, like, promotion versus just posting. Okay, I want to get some of your insight on that, because you know, it was something that you noticed and had been talking to artists before. I think I've talked to artists like that before, but it's been like a long time where I've had that conversation. So I want to say, like, what is that? I didn't even know it was a thing. What does it look like in 2019?
It's definitely a thing.
Like, why is it still a thing?
It's definitely a thing, and I think it's a thing because of the lack of knowledge from artists, you know, understanding what it takes to actually, like, push a record, right? So I think for artists, a lot of times, you know, artists, they basically covet what they see. So a lot of artists see the major artists doing certain things, like going to the studio, performing, and, you know, just posting on Instagram or posting on social media. Like, that's really all they see. They don't see what goes into marketing that song that we all know and love, right? So what they do, they go to the studio, they make the song, they go perform, and then they just post it, and then that's the end of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like that's the structure that they follow. And then they sit back and try to ask themselves, like, well, why is my music underperforming? Like, why am I not getting results? You know, I posted this on Instagram, but yeah, that's the key word. You posted it, but you didn't market it. It's a big difference from marketing and posting, okay? A lot of artists they'll have a new song. They might post the little promo video, a little cover art. Another thing y'all do a lot is post that same exact content like 4 times. You know what I mean? Like, we might like it one time. Yep. We might even like it twice just because I might know you. So I'm like, let me double tap twice. But like, I'm not finna like you 3 times. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not about to like the same post 3 times. So it's like, first of all, you have to figure out multiple ways to create content for one piece of thing. You know, if you have this song, there's so many different things that you can post, right? You can post behind the scenes of you in the studio, behind the scenes of you performing, rehearsal. You know, you can drop little lines and ask your fan base, like, should I go with this line or that line? Like, even before the song drops, to even build up hype. So you have all of these different things that you can actually use to promote or market, but a lot of artists don't do that. They use this one piece of content, they drop it on their social media 1, 2, 3 times, and A, because it doesn't get a lot of engagement, or B, because they don't know what to do next with it, they just move on to the next song. And then they're like, a week later, they're like, oh, I'm about to drop this song. You know what I'm saying? And then their page becomes just watch this, listen to this, go watch my video, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And there's no conversation going on their page.
So how can they like change that though?
So before you start dropping music, you have to develop a marketing plan. You have to think of, like, your question to yourself is, okay, I got this song. Even before you record the song, you could be like, okay, I want to make a club song. I want to make a twerk song, right? So if I know I want to make a twerk song, I know what kind of people want to hear this twerk song, right? So, and then when you know what kind of people want to hear it, you can be like, okay, well, since I know that, I know where I can put it. You know, what DJs I need to send it to, what clubs I need to pull up and try to get played. Like, when you start with asking yourself questions, you start developing the plan on how I'm going to get my music in front of new people every day. You know what I mean?
I think that's valuable. Just what you said as far as just asking yourself the questions.
Right.
Finding answers to those questions, right? But, and those are specific questions. That's not, how do I blow up? How do I grow my fan base?
Right.
Growing a fan base is only a result of those actions,
exactly,
which come from proper action, like which means proper questions have to be asked, right? So, yeah, what the type of people like the song? Where are these people? All right, how do I get my song in that place? Versus, it's true, man, it is true that a lot of artists are just, I record the things that you see. Right, just how they say a kid sees certain things, and that's what they're gonna do.
Exactly.
Right, or we need to have more representation of minorities over in movies so they can think they can be these different things. How people say all that stuff. Artists are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, okay, I think that I can record, go to this show, post, and it'll be good. But it's so much more than that. And I think even when we tell people though, it's more than that. And even when we break down certain stuff, is this other side, right? Where some people think that it's, okay, I'm going to do these things now. But they don't realize how long you have to do these things, right, how much action and energy it takes to actually break through. And then there's these other people who, even when they get the keys, information-wise, they still think, nah, it got to be some extra stuff. Like, they're kind of conspiracy theory, right, like, in terms of, like, nah, it got to be some extra stuff, some super secret person.
It's like they want to ask you about steps, but they don't want to do no work. You know what I mean?
That's the part that's being avoided, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to do the simple thing, and no, this is going to happen. I should get a fan base. It's like, okay, no, you said I should do this. All right, I'm going to do this. I did this one time. I should get a fan base. It's like, no, you got to do it a lot of times. Or it's like, okay, I'm doing this, and I did it a little bit, and I did it. Matter of fact, I did it for 3 months, and I'm still not blowing up. What's the secret, man? Y'all lying to me. It's like, no, it takes more actual work.
Right.
Like, even the answers have to be done 50 times, 60 times over and over again to create that energy to break through. Like, that's just the real.
I can tell you this. This is a saying that I learned a while ago. So the saying is that a hit song is not created, it's marketed.
Oh yeah, 100%. I love that saying.
So when we think about, dropping our songs, when you think about, like, let's say Cardi B or whatever, you might not like Cardi B, some people will, but the labels understand that what we have to do is have that song everywhere the fans are. So it's like, when you turn on Pandora, she's spinning. When you turn on your radio, she's spinning. When you go into the club, she's spinning. When you go into like a little lounge, it's play. Like, it's literally everywhere you are. And see, artists don't do that with their music. They don't put their music on every platform that they can put it on and market it there. They only focus on, let me post this real quick on Instagram, or let me post this real quick on Facebook. And then you drop this real basic message that just says new single out, click the link in my bio. Like, there's no hype about it. There's no even excitement. You literally have the same line with every song that you drop, right? So it's like, you're not putting your music in all these different places. You're not forcing it down people's throat. That's why we hear music, like, it might be a song that you don't even like, but like a month later, you know all the words. That's because you hear it everywhere that you go, right? And it just becomes in your mind. So it's like, you can't help but to sing the song.
Yeah, I mean, because this is what it comes down to, in my opinion. Like, one, based off of what you just said, right? That saying that I love so much is not created, it's marketed. What's the one thing that creates a hit? The one thing. You can do all these other things, but there's one thing at the end of the day that's going to determine whether it's a hit or not. What you think that is?
Tell me.
Awareness.
Yes.
You talked about it, like, from steps, like what it looks like.
Yep.
Right? But it's awareness. Right? It can't be a hit. Like, we only qualify if a hit is if it's known by a certain amount of people. Right? Now, you can have a song that should be a hit, like, in terms of it should be known by a certain amount of people. Of course, you have those songs that have a huge amount of awareness and they're trash songs and they don't become like that for real hit. Mm-hmm. But no matter what, the last gatekeeper to, like, whatever, everything else can be done. Like, the last gatekeeper is just the awareness. That part has to happen. If that part doesn't happen, you don't have a hit, right?
Right.
So it's like, when you dissect everything down from there, now you have to choose, okay, can I create awareness in a lot of environments and do it on this mass commercial scale, or can I just do it in a small niche and be omnipresent? But we want to talk about the secret of secrets that are separating some artists from other artists, or like when we talk about labels and what's all going on there versus some other artists, one of the main things just goes back to resources, right? Of course, they have the ability to create the awareness, like, even outside of that. Mm-hmm. Now, if we want to get into the work that gets done, we talk about the stuff that you just talked about, right? Oh, I'm not just writing, you follow this link, or, whatever, right? Like, these passive, irrelevant messages that don't really matter or may have an actual impact. Right? They have the resources, like, people-wise, money-wise, but, like, the resources to say, I'm going to put this much attention to this phase of it, the copywriting, right? I got this much attention to put towards the actual video, this much attention. Like, they actually can put intentional intention to each of those steps, where, for one, understandably so, you're an artist just starting out and you don't have all these resources. You got your regular job. It's hard to put a lot of time into each of those steps individually. It's hard to do that as one person, right? So, but that's like one of the things. It's like, the work has to be done. You just aren't able to do the work, which is all comes down to sometimes. So now you have to figure out how to find what are the most important things. And let me break through here. All right. Now I kind of figured, and I just did the work to get to here. And you got to put all your energy into that versus like, let me follow all these steps, because you're not going to be able to put your energy in all those steps.
Right. So you just said, like, you just mentioned like a key word for me, which was intentional, right? Yeah. And I don't think a lot of artists intend to get a specific result. Therefore, they don't plan for the result, right? Like, you're not intending to get a certain amount of people to follow you or to buy your merch or whatever. you don't make any type of plan that's going to help you get to that point, right?
Yeah.
You're not even creating your music intentionally. Like, y'all just getting in the studio and y'all just creating, and then you're releasing. But when it comes to, like, if you know you have a product, right, you start moving intentionally. Like, I have this product, so what do I have to do to get this product out, right? So now I'm making a list of, okay, I need to sell this much. How many do I need to sell this to? And this is one thing I was teaching. I had something called the money formula, right? Because every artist says, I want to make all this money, right? So, and I'm like, okay, if you want to make this money, what do you need to get there? So if you want to make $5,000, right? You want to launch a new song, you want to make $5,000. What does it take to get there? Let's break down the numbers, right? So the money formula is basically how many fans you need, like super fans, times how much you need them to spend with you in order to get 5,000, right? So how that breaks down, it could be you have 100 fans that pays you $50 for this campaign. So if I know all I need is 100 fans, I can start doing things intentional. I don't have to worry about 20,000 fans. All I need is 100, and I can make 5,000.
Now you can focus. Yeah.
Exactly. So you can start moving intentionally, start putting together things when you talk about like a release campaign or a single campaign or whatever, you can start putting things in that campaign that will help you get those numbers, right? Which means you're doing things intentionally. I can have a show where I say, okay, I'm going to have... Hey, real quick, y'all, we had a quick issue with the camera, but we back at it. I want to finish the point. We was talking about being intentional, figuring out whatever your goal is, figuring out what it's going to take to get there, and then you can start creating the plan to execute, right?
Simple. Yep.
And I think that's the main thing. A lot of artists just don't start with a plan. They just get to the recording and then drop it, and they're just so excited about that. But even with doing that, like, to get that awareness that you were talking about, I think one reason why, artists don't have that awareness with their music or their brand or whatever is because a lot of the independent artists, they're not that visible, right? And it's like a lot of you guys only jump on these platforms when you're releasing. You know what I mean? So it's like you haven't built up awareness for yourself. You only jump up on Instagram when you have this new song and then you post the video and then you're done with it, but like, what about before that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you moving like a big artist when you're not there, so it makes it harder.
Right.
So, yeah. Especially if you expect organic reach and content to be your thing and actually create that for you, you have to stay visible, kind of, if you want that to happen, because that's just how the algorithms and people work and the way attention. If you're gonna put a lot of money into ads to re-up that visibility, then that's cool. But if you're not gonna do that, and you want to just try to flex as much of this free content, this free awareness as possible, you gotta kind of stay in that game. It's hard to like tiptoe
right, because that's how you grow organically. When you're visible all the time, people are coming to your page. They might have found you over here, over there, and then they come to your page. And it's like I always say, like, whatever platform you use, that's like your homepage, right? Like your Instagram for me is my office. You feel me? So it's very important for me that when people pull up to my office looks like I'm open for business, right? So that they can go and click on my link and buy something from me. Yeah. A lot of artists, like, y'all don't look like y'all open for business. Y'all look like y'all closed. You ain't posting like 3-4 months, right? So it's like,
I love that.
When a fan or a customer or whatever comes to your page, they're going to look and be like, well, why do I even need to follow you? Like, I might have liked your song, but I see that you're not even really on Instagram like that. Like, you ain't posting mad long. So now it's like out of sight, out of mind. Like, oh, I'm going to just let it go, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like we got to look like, we are a business. And that's even down to the content that we create. When you come to a business, if you walk into McDonald's and it look real dirty, you're not going to eat there, right? If you walk into a restaurant, everybody look lazy, it take them a long time to come and talk to you and say what's up, right? Yeah. You ain't going to want to eat there. So it's like we have to apply that same thing to our social media platform, especially if you don't have a website. But even with that, people come to your social media platform before they do anything else. Before they go to your website, before they're clicking on your product to buy anything from you. It's like they come and check. If I hear about a new artist, before I might even listen to the song, I'm probably going to just go to your Instagram page. Because that's the platform that I like to use the most. So I'm going to check you out. You know, I'm going to click links. If you're looking like, you know, you're somebody, that's when I'm going to start clicking links. Like, okay, let me see what else this person does.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why it's real important for us to stay visible, have great content, you know, and communicate with our followers on a daily basis, because people, fans, they need to be able to rely on you and trust in you, you know, so that we can turn them into, you know, what I call, one of my mentors always uses this term, MVP, which is our most valuable payers, right? We need to convert people from just being somebody who found our page over to being a fan, and then over to being like a payer, because artists, you want to make money. We can't put
What do you mean by payer?
When I mean payer, like a fan that's buying something from you, right? Mm-hmm. Because one thing about independent artists, I think when they think of money, they think like, oh, I got to get these streams up. But there's so many ways to monetize with your music. And streams, first of all, even if you're getting streams, that can take months to even get those payments. So like, what kind of money are you getting in between that, right?
Yep.
You have to be able to monetize. So it's like, you have to figure out other ways to make money with your music. So that's doing shows, of course, you know, you can have informational products. So there's a lot of artists, you know, producers, whatever, that can teach other artists and producers how to do things. Like, we're just in this information stage where, like, if you know something more than the next artist, you can teach them how to do stuff, right? And you can put a price on it. So now,
even if you only know a little more,
right?
It's more.
It's more than they know.
Yeah.
And you can put a price on it, right? So that's what we talk about, or what we mean when it comes to like monetizing. You have to figure out what your product is, because music is free. I don't have to pay you to listen to this music, right? So it's like, what product are you going to sell to me, especially if I'm actually becoming a fan? Now I'm looking for something from you. Like, I want a shirt, or I want, you know what I mean? Like,
people don't realize how much our fans want to support people.
They waiting. They're literally waiting for you to just tell them what to do next, right?
Hey, look, man, at this point, a lot of fans, they know the game.
Right.
They know that you need merch to sell. They know, like, they see the steps. They've seen so much, because this is the information age, not just for you, right? The fans know more than they ever have known before, right? That's why so many artists already know so much, because they started off as fans and just seeing it from that perspective anyway. That content is getting out to everybody, so fans are aware of the process way more than you think. You just gotta, you know, not play a fool of yourself. Make sure you stay on what your brand is, and make sure you do it in that way, and keep your integrity as an artist in that particular bag, whatever yours is in your niche, right? But other than that, fans are willing to help you go through those hoops to get to where you need to go. It's just about packaging it and knowing how to do it, when to do it, staying visible, and being on your P's and Q's, creating those systems, so you can make sure you can do this consistently, not just have this one thing you did great and now you don't post for 5 months like Lady J's talking about.
Right, exactly. So I think you just ran it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just ran it down for me. Hey, y'all gotta be visible. You gotta have content, and I think when you start figuring these things out, you'll have better content. I think one thing about artists is, like, a lot of the times I hear them say, like, I don't know what to post, you know? So it can be like, it can get stressful, you know what I mean? If you feel like, I don't know what to post, you know, and a lot of artists are not really documenting their process. Like Gary Vee always says, like, document over create. Yeah. So it's like, you're doing all these things, quote unquote, you know, going to the studio, performing, blah, 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 but like, you're not even documenting this process. And then when it's time to release a song, all you have is this video. You know, so it's like, you got to start documenting your process as well, and that will help you create the content and make you look like you're doing something. Yeah,
that's a whole nother talk. We can get into, like, how do you know what to post and all that stuff. So we'll make sure we do that. But shoot, I mean, this has been a good talk. You know, I like talking to you.
That's a fact.
Like, this is another another conversation in the bag. We hope We hope y'all got some value from it. We would love to hear y'all thoughts. Give us some feedback on this thing.
Yes.
And Lady J, leave them out, man. What's gonna be the outro for this convo? How's that gonna look?
Man, you put me on the spot.
Yep.
I don't even know. But look, I just, for all of y'all that may stumble upon this that don't know me, make sure y'all follow me. We got great content that's always coming out. If you have any questions or topics that you even like us to hit on, send us a message, reach out. I don't know about Sean, but I do be responding to people,
I
I
respond here and there when it makes sense.
Right. But just reach out or whatever. And that's pretty much it for me. We out of here.
Bet. We out, man. Follow at Lady J Bookums. Follow at Brandman Network, because we're gonna be doing a lot of great things for y'all on that actual IG page. We only have 300 followers right now, but we're gonna boost that thing up and give y'all some free stuff or some other things like that interesting at some point. Y'all hear more about that later. We out. Have a good one, folks.
Peace.
Peace.